If you're over 50 and you remember the smell of garlic simmering in honey on your grandmother's stove, listen carefully. Because what she was making in that kitchen, the FDA would send a warning letter for today. By the end of this video, I will walk you through the 25 kitchen remedies our grandmothers used every single week. The exact reason regulators do not want you making them at home anymore. And the morning ritual I built for the people inside the Mitochondria Reset, on sale this week for $27. But first, the real story behind why these remedies disappeared from American kitchens. In 1938, the Food and Drug Administration was given full authority over what could be called medicine in this country. Before that year, anyone could write a book about willow bark for fever or honey for a wound. After it, only an approved drug could carry that claim. In 1994, a law called DSHEA drew an even harder line. Anything that grew in your garden or sat in your pantry could no longer make a medical claim, no matter how many centuries of evidence backed it up. That single line erased 2,000 years of kitchen wisdom from the public conversation overnight. Your grandmother was not making remedies. She was practicing medicine. She just did not need a permission slip from any agency to do it. And the truth that almost nobody says out loud is this: most of what she made in that kitchen still works. It works exactly as well today as it did when she was alive in 1960. The plants did not change. The honey did not change. Your body did not change. What changed is who is allowed to call it medicine. So I am going to walk you through 25 of those remedies, grouped into 5 categories, with the actual peer-reviewed science behind why they still function today. By the way, Margaret from Phoenix, 64 years old, took prescription sleeping pills for 9 straight years. By day 7 of the protocol I will tell you about, she slept 7 hours straight through the night. First time in nearly a decade. She did not find that at her doctor's office. She found it in the first link in the description. Anyway, let us start with category 1. The kitchen pantry medicines. 5 remedies your grandmother kept within arm's reach of the stove at all times. Number 1, the honey wound dressing. For 4,000 years, before silver, before iodine, before sulfa drugs, healers packed open wounds with raw honey. Egyptians did it. Greek soldiers carried jars of it into battle. Your great-grandmother probably had a jar of dark amber honey reserved exclusively for cuts and burns. Modern hospitals now use medical-grade Manuka honey on diabetic ulcers and severe burn wards. Multiple peer-reviewed studies in the journal Wound Repair and Regeneration confirm what every grandmother already knew. Honey draws moisture out of bacterial cells, kills them by osmotic pressure, and stimulates new tissue growth at the wound bed. The catch: the FDA does not approve raw honey from your local beekeeper for wound care. The label cannot say it. The pharmacy will not stock it. But the chemistry has not changed one bit. Number 2, apple cider vinegar with the mother, used for digestion, for blood sugar regulation, and as a hair rinse for centuries. The mother, that cloudy strand of beneficial bacteria floating in the bottle, is the actual medicine. Pasteurized vinegar at the supermarket has none of it. Number 3, the garlic and honey infusion that old herbalists called an oxymel, crushed raw garlic cloves steeped in raw honey for at least 7 days, taken by the spoonful at the very first sign of a winter cold. Allicin from the garlic, antimicrobial enzymes from the honey. A 2,000-year-old combination that modern research at the University of Maryland has now confirmed. Number 4, onion juice mixed with raw honey. The cough syrup my own grandmother poured straight from a teacup. Slice an onion, layer it with honey in a jar, leave it overnight, and by morning you have a thick golden syrup that calms a deep cough faster than anything you can buy at a drugstore. Number 5, cayenne pepper tincture. Used by frontier women for centuries to keep a heart attack from finishing what it started. A teaspoon in warm water at the very first sign of chest tightness. Capsaicin opens the capillaries, drops blood pressure within minutes, and was carried in every pioneer medicine bag west of the Mississippi. Every single one of those has modern peer-reviewed research backing the actual mechanism. None of them can be sold to you with a medical claim attached to the label. Now, category 2, the herbal teas and decoctions our grandmothers brewed every single morning. Number 6, mullein leaf tea for the lungs. If you walk through any pasture in the rural United States in late summer, you will see a tall, yellow flowered plant standing 4 to 6 feet high. That is mullein. Native American herbalists smoked it for asthma. European grandmothers brewed the dried leaves into a thick golden tea for stubborn coughs and for early bronchitis. Research published by the National Institutes of Health confirms mullein contains compounds called saponins and mucilage that act as natural expectorants. They thin mucus. They calm inflamed bronchial tissue. They do almost exactly what an over-the-counter cough syrup claims to do, only without any of the side effects. But you cannot buy a bottle of mullein extract at a pharmacy with the words "for cough" on the label. The FDA pulled that ability decades ago under the structure-function rule, so the plant just sits there in the field. Nobody picks it. Nobody knows. Number 7, yarrow infusion. Used for centuries to stop bleeding and break a stubborn fever, soldiers in the American Civil War packed yarrow leaves into musket wounds. Grandmothers brewed it as a hot tea to push a fever out through sweating. Number 8, plantain leaf tea, the weed in your driveway your grandmother called the Band-Aid plant. Soothing for the gut and for the skin, chew a fresh leaf and press it on a bee sting. The pain stops within 60 seconds. The mechanism is documented in a German pharmacopoeia going back to the 1600s. Number 9, dandelion root coffee, a liver tonic now confirmed by research at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Roasted dandelion root, ground and brewed like coffee, supports bile flow and gentle daily detoxification. Common across Appalachian kitchens until the 1950s. Number 10, sage leaf gargle, for a sore throat that will not quit and for inflamed gums. A handful of dried sage steeped in apple cider vinegar with a pinch of salt. Gargle 3 times a day. The volatile oils, particularly thujone, knock down bacterial throat infections without antibiotics. Before I go on, I need to stop for 4 minutes and tell you what happened to Margaret. Because if you recognize yourself in her story, the rest of this video changes completely. And if you do not, you can skip the next 4 minutes. The link is already in the description. But I think you will recognize yourself. Watch this. Margaret is 64, lives in Phoenix, Arizona, spent 31 years as a public school nurse, the kind of woman who knew every kid by name and kept tissues in her pocket for the criers. When she retired at 60, she thought she would finally sleep through the night. The opposite happened. By 62, she could not fall asleep at all without a prescription pill. By 63, she needed 2 pills. By 64, even the pills were not working anymore. She would lie there at 3 in the morning, eyes wide open, listening to the air conditioner cycle, on and off. Her doctor said it was menopause. Then he said it was anxiety. Then he said it was just aging and there was nothing to do about it. Then he wrote her another prescription. In January, her daughter Rachel sent her a video, one that looked very much like this one. Margaret was raised by a Tennessee grandmother who treated almost everything that came up with kitchen remedies, so she was not skeptical of the protocol. She was curious. She read every reference cited inside the Ebook: Memorial Sloan Kettering, Karolinska Institute, Stanford, Mount Sinai. 3 full weekends of reading. Then she started. Day 3, she woke up at 6 in the morning without an alarm. Rested for the first time in years. Day 7, she slept through the entire night, 7 hours straight. First time since 2015. Day 21, she stopped setting an alarm at all. Her body just woke up when it was ready. Here is why the protocol worked for Margaret when 9 straight years of pills did not. Margaret had tried melatonin. She had tried magnesium. She had tried cutting caffeine completely. None of it worked because each one was a single piece in isolation. The mitochondria reset is a sequence. What you eat in the morning, in what specific order, with what exact timing, what to stop after 6 in the evening. That is the cellular activation pathway. It is not a diet. It is not a supplement stack. It is the exact sequence, hour by hour, that opens the autophagy window and tells your mitochondria to repair themselves overnight, while you sleep. When mitochondria finally repair, sleep deepens. When sleep deepens, everything else follows. Most people try one piece at a time. The protocol gives you the whole sequence, and the whole sequence is the only thing that actually works. Here is what you get when you join this week. The Mitochondria Reset ebook, 7 chapters, 134 cited peer-reviewed studies, the complete 21-day protocol, standalone value, $47, plus 6 bonuses, the coffee variations chart with every single variable tested, the 6 other mitochondria foods with senior doses laid out, the 21-day Visceral Fat Tracker, printable day by day, the Talk to Your Doctor script for when they push medication you do not want, lifetime updates, every new study delivered automatically, forever, and only for the next 48 hours after watching this video, the personal mitochondria email where you write in once with your most important question and get a real answer from a certified specialist. Total stack value, $241, what you pay today, $27, one time, lifetime access. And if in the first 90 days the protocol does not change what you wanted it to change, you write one short email with one word, refund. You get every cent back, no questions, no justification needed, and you keep every single bonus forever. Even if you ask for the refund, you're not carrying any risk on this one. We are. The first link in the description takes you straight to the page. The personal email bonus disappears 48 hours after this video, so if you're going to do this, go now. Okay, back to the video. Because even if you do not pick up the protocol today, the next 15 remedies on this list will change how you think about your kitchen forever. Here is the next category. Category 3, the poultices and topical preparations. The remedies your grandmother applied directly to the skin when something hurt or refused to heal. Number 11, The mustard plaster for chest congestion. Take 1 part dry mustard powder, 2 parts plain flour, mix with a little warm water until it forms a thick paste. Spread it between 2 pieces of cotton flannel and lay the warm pack on the chest of a person with deep bronchial congestion. The mustard creates a controlled warming effect that draws blood to the surface, opens the bronchi, and breaks up trapped mucus. Used in every American farmhouse for 150 years. Studied at the University of Maryland's Center for Integrative Medicine. Confirmed to work through a mechanism the researchers call rubefaction. Cannot be sold today as a treatment for anything. Number 12, the castor oil pack. Applied warm over the liver region for 3 nights running to support natural detoxification. A piece of unbleached wool flannel soaked in cold pressed castor oil, covered with plastic, then a heating pad. 1 hour per session. The Edgar Cayce literature is full of it. Modern research at the National Institutes of Health confirms ricinoleic acid penetrates the skin and reduces local inflammation. Number 13, the comfrey leaf poultice. The most powerful bone and tissue healer the plant kingdom has ever produced. The FDA actually issued a formal warning against internal comfrey use in 2001 because of compounds called pyrrolizidine alkaloids that stress the liver. But topical comfrey, applied directly to a sprained ankle or a bruised rib or a stubborn skin ulcer, was your great-grandmother's secret weapon and remains one of the most effective bruise remedies ever documented. The old country name was knitbone, because it actually does. Number 14, cabbage leaf wraps, applied directly to a swollen joint or to engorge breast tissue during the early days of nursing. Crush the leaf with a rolling pin to release the juice. Lay it on the area. Wrap with a wool sock. Leave overnight. Inflammation goes down by morning. Number 15, the activated charcoal poultice for spider bites, snake bites, and serious infections, used for 2,000 years before any antivenom existed. Charcoal binds toxins by adsorption. The poultice draws venom and bacteria out of the wound. Still used in remote field medicine, wherever doctors are 6 hours away. Quick reminder, if the Margaret story hit something for you, and you still have not picked up the protocol, the personal email bonus disappears in less than 48 hours from now. After that, you can still join, but the email goes away forever. First link in the description. Back to the video. Now, category 4, the fermented medicines that lived on every American counter before the rise of pasteurization. Number 16, sauerkraut juice, the cloudy liquid your grandmother drained off the crock and saved in a glass jar in the back of the icebox. 1 spoonful before a heavy meal, living lactobacillus bacteria, vitamin C in a more bioavailable form than fresh cabbage, the original heartburn cure. James Cook's sailors did not get scurvy because they drank this stuff by the gallon at sea. Number 17, homemade kefir. Fermented from raw milk grains your grandmother probably got from a neighbor and kept alive on her counter for decades. 12 to 20 different strains of beneficial bacteria and beneficial yeast. Modern research at Stanford confirms kefir reseeds the gut microbiome more thoroughly than any commercial yogurt. Number 18, kombucha. The sweetened tea fermented with a SCOBY, used in Russian and Manchurian villages for at least 2,000 years. Acetic acid, glucuronic acid, B vitamins, and a complex of probiotics that support immune function from the gut up. Number 19, fire cider. What old herbalists called the master tonic. A powerful infusion of apple cider vinegar with raw garlic, raw onion, fresh ginger, fresh horseradish, raw cayenne, and raw honey, steeped together for at least 4 weeks in a dark cupboard. Taken by the spoonful at the very first sign of a winter sickness. Number 20, beet kvass. A deeply earthy, lacto-fermented beet drink that supports bile flow and cleanses the blood. Eastern European grandmothers drank a small glass with breakfast every single morning of their lives. The ones who lived to be 90. The FDA has gone after multiple small fermented food producers over the past 2 decades for making any health claim about these traditional foods. The bacteria are not the problem. The labels are. And finally, category 5. The old-time tinctures and syrups your grandmother made by the gallon every fall. Number 21, elderberry syrup. Probably the single most well-documented winter immune remedy in the entire historical record. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of International Medical Research demonstrated elderberry can shorten the duration of a flu by an average of 4 days. Your grandmother knew this in 1940. The peer-reviewed study just confirmed what she'd been pouring into a teaspoon for her grandchildren her entire life. Number 22, elderflower fever tea, a gentle diaphoretic that opens the pores and helps the body release a fever naturally. Used across the British Isles for at least 400 years. Number 23, pine needle tea, brewed from fresh white pine needles in winter, with 5 times the vitamin C content of an orange. Sailors made it. Native Americans taught the early colonists to make it. It saved entire settlements from scurvy in the long winters before refrigerated produce existed. One more thing before we wrap up. Going to a longevity clinic with the 8 problems we have brushed against today, sleep, energy, deep cellular fatigue, immunity, gut health, joint pain, brain fog, and metabolic recovery, would cost you somewhere between $1,500 and $4,000 in any major American city. I checked. The Mitochondria Reset gives you the same protocol foundation, structured for the typical adult 50 plus. Today, with this week's launch price, $27. Original price was $97. 90 days money back guarantee. You keep all 6 bonuses. You are literally taking 0 risk on this. The personal email bonus disappears at the timer in the first link in the description. If you are going to do this, today is the day. Continuing dot, number 24, thyme steam inhalation. Boil a handful of fresh thyme in a quart of water. Drape a towel over your head in the pot. Breathe deep through the nose for 10 minutes. The volatile oils, particularly a compound called thymol, are documented at the National Institutes of Health to break up bronchial congestion and inhibit respiratory bacteria. The fastest natural remedy for a developing chest cold ever recorded. Number 25, bone broth, the original liquid medicine, slow simmered for 24 to 72 hours from grass-fed beef bones or pasture-raised chicken carcasses. Glycine, proline, glutamine, collagen, minerals in their most absorbable form. What your grandmother gave a sick child the moment they came down with anything. What modern research at the Mount Sinai Health System now confirms supports gut lining repair, joint cartilage, and immune cell production. 25 remedies, 5 categories. 2,000 years of accumulated kitchen wisdom that almost vanished in a single generation. The reason this happened is not really a conspiracy. It is much more boring than that. Once a substance can no longer carry a profitable medical claim, the industry stops talking about it. Doctors stop learning about it in school. Patients stop hearing about it. The remedy does not get banned. It gets forgotten. Your grandmother did not need permission to heal her own family. She had observation. She had 400 years of accumulated regional knowledge passed down through women in her line. She had a kitchen full of staples, and she had results she could see with her own eyes. You still have all 4 of those things today. The pantry has not changed. The plants have not changed. Your body has not changed. The only thing that changed is what gets called medicine in the marketing. If you start with even 3 of these remedies this winter, raw honey for cuts, mullein tea for the lungs, elderberry syrup at the first sneeze, you will see what your grandmother saw. Less colds, less coughs, less stiffness, better sleep. And if you want the modern protocol that combines this kind of ancestral logic with the latest cellular science, structured specifically for an adult over 50, the way Margaret used it to sleep through the night for the first time in 9 years, the link is right below this video. $27, 90 days money back, 48-hour bonus window. Before you close this video, one last thing. In the next 2 minutes, 2 things can happen. 1, you click the link, you pay $27. Tonight you read the first chapter in bed. Tomorrow morning you start. Day 3 you wake up easier. Day 7 you sleep through the night like Margaret did. Day 21 your pants fit looser. Day 90 you forget what tired even felt like. Or 2, you close the video. Tomorrow morning you wake up just as tired as today. In 3 weeks you do not remember this video. In 1 year, nothing is different. Both paths are real. Both end in a reality. The first link in the description. The personal email bonus closes 48 hours from now. Last thing, this knowledge does not belong to the industry. It belongs to you. Subscribe to this channel so no one ever forgets it again.